let's get ourselves ready and going then for action. It's going to be all about that run to the last horse hairpin, and we get ourselves underway here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps as we get ourselves going then with pretty quick Tadia there on the outside, trying to attack then in the early goings, but nothing doing as they go through the last horse hairpin. No real dramas to speak of here as they run through. Kuti in control at the front with Tadia second, Navneet Kumar in third. Ara Ravindra could only qualify the car in fourth place as they take their eyes up Eau Rouge and Radion then for the very first time, as Kuti immediately is going to be under pressure here. This is where Kapadia can go out there and attack in the early goings here, Solomon, here. This is the run to Lake, and this is where overtakes happen.
Well, Arun Ravindra was trying to really try and get on the brakes a little bit early. This is the moment of reckoning, as we're already seeing Munjal Savla trying to make a move on Jamie Shaw. Jamie Shaw drops down to Aditya, moves up to position number 8. A little of jostle of position as the race starts again. Eau Rouge has always been a corner that's always been quite a few of the technical left and the rights when you're not able to go down. But Garvit Lodha moves up to position number 12. It is the moment of reckoning. This is the time you're going to be looking at 2 more. Very important to get those points in.
Kapadia couldn't find the move through. Ravindra now trying to find a way up into third, but he's in fourth and under pressure now from Rishabh Banerjee in fifth position. It's a very close fight in the championship, 5th down to 10th at this moment in time. So those drivers are going to be hoping those points. But look at Ravindra here. He's now on the outside, or the inside here at the double apex left-hander of Puon. And still it's going to be Rishabh Banerjee holding it around the outside. And here be Rishabh who will take that place and move up to 4th. So a really, really eclectic start. But Amit Kuti's got what he wants, a gap at the front, and his main championship rival is all the way back in 5th place. This is how quickly you can drop time in a championship like this, in a race like this. We're only 2 minutes out of 30 in, so already a 15th of the way through this race. But Ara Ravindra knows he hasn't got time to sit and wait. He's got to go back on the offensive, and quickly.
I'm very happy that you really talked about what Arun Ravindra needs to do. Let's put it in simple maths. He needs to win 3 races in trot and take home 50 points. If he's able to do that, that is what is going to put him in the reckoning. Interesting fight that you talked about between Navneet and Raghav Budhiraja, because Navneet, if you're looking at the championship table, is on 193 on number 6. Raghav Budhiraja is on 198. Just 5 points separates them. Every point needs to be fought out today. Moment of reckoning beckons as this is Spa, and here comes the famous corner.
Absolutely. Look at how right now you've got almost 3 wide action going through in the minor positions here, trying to sort it out. They just about do quite nicely as we take a nice little scenic look then here at turn 1 as they go up the hill through Eau Rouge and Radion once again here at a track which very much sets itself out as the ultimate all-rounder circuit. It does endurance, it does tin tops, it does formula style, it does everything to a really, really strong degree. Kuti from Kathadia, then it's Navneet in third and Rishabh in 4th position at the front of this race. But the fighting is going on here just inside the top 10. Immediately trying to challenge Navneet here, try and pick up 3rd place. He's not finding anything of that at this stage. Hill at Ravage, this very, very tough right-hand corner, or Bruxelles as it's now known, but this is a very, very difficult corner. It always fades down the hill. You're fighting against gravity as you turn, and Rishabh Banerjee here in 4th, having probably his best run of the season, so 9th position.
You know, when you're talking about Ryden Severwell already up to 9th, what I was thinking is when they go downhill, you really don't have to jam your brakes way too much, because you'll have that little understeer into that corner. This is an all-round track. You do get exciting corners. Eau Rouge, of course, and then you further down the order, you're looking at the Blanco Point or the chicane just before the home straight. This is exciting, and this is what the big billing is all for. We need points. Arun Ravindra needs a race win. Amit Kuti just needs to consolidate. He is sitting pretty, isn't it?
He certainly is. He's having a very good run of things in the opening 5 minutes then of this race. This is Abhinay Bakani up on screen for you, currently in 11th position at this stage, and has a lot of work to try and get through and find the results that are very much needed. But Abhinay knows what he needs to do, and that is just to consolidate his position, find maybe a couple more if they run into dramas. But in the early goings, it seems like everyone's just finding their own little piece of track and trying to make that run. They've got to also be careful about running too wide there throughout sections. 2:28.1, fastest lap of the race comes in then for Amit Kuti there at the bottom of your screen. But everybody now is just needing to settle down into a rhythm. This is a long track in terms of length, 2.5 minutes, which means that in terms of laps, you don't get many laps as such to try and make things happen. But we do expect that after these early few laps that those gaps will extend out here, Solomon, a lot more due to the fact that it is such a long lap. It's a
Jake, you got that spot on. I mean, if you talk to racers who've raced on Spa, they will always tell you when they track or even the both international circuit. The fact of the matter is, when you're at Spa, it is grueling and it can be really draining on a driver. And that's exactly going to happen right now, because then you all of a sudden you have a fast left-hander, then you have to break down, and then you have the El Rouge. It's an exciting track, and that's what brings in exciting race action as well.
Certainly does at the moment. Navneet Kumar then third position, but it's all going on behind. That's Tej Patel in 8th position then. In front of him, Garvit Loader in 7th and Jamie Shaw in 6th position. Both of them wanting through as Rishabh Banerjee finds himself now backwards into the clutches of Ara Ravindra, maybe trying to be too aggressive there over that second lap and third lap of the race, and it's all of a sudden starting to fall back here into the clutches of Ravindra, who does struggle a little bit there going through the corner. Just a little lock-up, misses the apex, and that as such allows Rishabh Banerjee the chance to break away. But this is a very, very tough circuit to work out how to get quick cap, because you've got a fast and all about power first section, a twisty second section, and then you're back on the power for the final sector with a stop-start flow. How on earth do you set up a car, especially like these Volkswagen Polos, to try and work out how's the best way to get around this place?
Well, that's where you need your theory. You possibly learn from a little bit of experience. Just a quick word on Rishabh Banerjee is currently 8th on the championship table. Tej Patel point separates them. This show right now, if he continues to finish at number 4, he will really take him into the top 7, that's for sure. So there are points to be grabbed up for, and if you're looking at the car setup, I would rather make sure that my car doesn't oversteer into a corner. Just that it should be able to be very smooth, and maybe hope for a slipstream on the straight line. I mean, that's what I would do, and that's what possibly Amit Kuti did today.
Absolutely, and they're trying to find their pace, and we're seeing here how Amit has done incredibly well with the run so far at this stage, but at the moment he's got himself a gap, and it's him and Oshan Kathadia then out with control at the front. The driver in 5th position is 2nd in the championship. He's Ara Ravindra. We had a chance to speak to him earlier on this week. This is what he had to say.
I started in 2012. I got to know about Rayo Racing from a newspaper article. I went to their website and I contacted Rayo, and he guided me as to what needs to be done next. So he said I should start with karting. So I started testing with the team a bit. It was a very, very, very interesting experience for me, because it was completely new. I didn't even know this thing, racing existed in India. So that's how I started, and then I did my first karting championship in 2013. That was a learning experience. And then the next year I did it seriously, bought a new kart, proper equipment, and I finished 3rd.
A stellar run looking to the outside there at Pouon, but again, just unable to pick up enough of an opportunity. Good run off of the exit here, so this might be the chance here into Fania, angling to that inside, trying to open up the door, left open there by Rishabh Banerjee, and out of the way. I'm trying to come through around the outside of the second part, has the inside at the campus corner here, this fantastic right, and it's going to be a case of Rishabh trying to hold the outside line, but he's got nothing to the end. So Ravindra now moves up into 4th position in your Volkswagen Virtual Racing Championship here, round number 10 here from the Circuit de Spa Francorchamps, Volkswagen Motorsport India, and on top of that as well, Venky's, the NECC MRF, of course, the driving force and so much more coming along with you in this event. I'm Jake Sperry, Solomon Paras along with me for the ride here in this 30-minute race. And the thing we haven't talked about yet in terms of this one is top 12 reverse Solomon. This race 1 determines the grid for race 3. It's a double header tomorrow, and this is where everyone's just got to be calm and collected. You make mistakes now, you're going to pay for them a little bit later on in the race or in the season, so to speak.
So if you start at 12 and you finish at 12, you take home 15 points. And now that is what Arun Ravindra is really counting on. We've been talking to Arun Ravindra over through the last 5 rounds. And jokes apart, that this guy is actually growing a lot of his hair. So if he's going to put on a helmet, I doubt if he's going to fit in. But I'm hoping Arun Ravindra is able to pull up a fight. And if that fight really comes in very earnest, he's going to take the championship back to Amit Khuri. But not at the first 2 rounds, how Arun Ravindra dominated. And all of a sudden, Amit Khuri, the man on your screen, really came into his own and did so well.
Nothing wrong with long hair. I have long hair myself, and I absolutely love having long hair. But Amit Kuti in control at the moment. A gap at the front to Oshan Kathadia here in second position. And it's this run of form that Amit Kuti finds himself in, Solomon, that just really puts pressure on drivers who need to go out there and find results. Because if you're going to be first, second, third every single race, you know, it's a zero mistakes championship, and Amit Kuti doesn't make mistakes.
He realizes the fact that he needs to take as many number of points in every number of race. He doesn't want to leave it till the end and then hope for the luck to favor him. But I was just looking at the way Amit Kuti's fastest lap times have just improved, his track times has improved. Now, one thing about this beautiful track is when you are in close-end action and you're trying to chase a driver ahead of you, you can push them off the racing line by just braking a little bit. Now, if in certain slow corners, the pressure can really build up to you. We saw that in Rishabh, we saw that in Tej Patel. How is Amit Khuri going to hang on? Because there is just about 7 car lengths that separates him right now for the fight for the first and the second.
The battle for 11th then hotting up at the moment as everything looks to start to form here for those fighting for that inverse for race 3 tomorrow. We're going to step aside for one moment here with Volkswagen Motorsport India here in the Volkswagen Virtual Racing Championship. We'll be back with more after this.
Power is, you only understand it when you feel it, you know?
Volkswagen.
Battle continues then. It looks like Siddharth Satyan holding on to the 12th position in this race. Behind, not having the best race in the world, is Munjal Savla in 13th, as Raj Tula for a little bit of company as well in 14th, just behind. So this is looking like it's going to be a very awkward battle. In fact, Munjal Savla has just lost the position to Raj Tula, who thinks about defending there into turn number 1. Didn't look like Munjal Savla was anywhere near having a lunge down the inside, so that would have been a little concerning maybe for those who are watching. But this is now going to be a case of watch and wait and hope and listen and find exactly what is needed here as they go on for more battling right now. And, well, really, Solomon, as we see this battle going on 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th, it's that top 12 which means so much to these drivers. And if you can't fight with those maybe a little bit further forward, you do start to form these draft packs, these battle packs that are curved straights on the run through Blanche. You have that ability to use the in-system, I would say, tools of assistance like the kinetic energy recovery system.
You really need to make sure that you have a very good exit into turn number 5, which is the Aruj, and also into turn number 16, that's just about Fall Ferry. Now, these are the places where you hope to get a toe, and car number 22 under pressure to surrender that position. That's Siddharth Satyam, tries to get him lined out, has the overtaking maneuver stuck. He's on the inside. He seems to be able to bring in Swaraj Yadav still involved, and the overtaking maneuver just about comes in as Raj Tula tries to fight back again. So this is one of those tracks that you can actually really put in the pressure when you break in a little late and the guy ahead has to surrender the racing line.
And that's just how easily you can lose time here. Siddharth Satyan then in 12th position, doing well at the moment, but you can still see how Raj Tula wants to go out there and be aggressive. Abhinay Bakani's in 15th and wants to get close as well here in this one. But Tula, again, just sitting comfortably now through Stavolo corner, and Abene Bakani, you can see right there, is also trying to get into the mix then as the attack comes in and you start to run up the draft through the curve of Paul Frere and now towards Blanchemont, a fearsome corner at the best of times, and even at the worst of times it can be even more difficult than that, through the big left-hander and on towards those final couple corners here. That chicane, formerly a bus stop, it's had so many iterations this final section of road, but they have stuck on this idea. Two double apex corners that looked like Tula was side by side there on the inside for the second half then of the corner. And did he go and make that stick? As we look across, it looks like he very much has done, as Sam Ravel finds himself in P10.
I think it's the first time in the race that he's moved into the top 10 on the reckoning for within Aditya Pawar for the ninth. 14 minutes to go. This could be a race where Rishabh Banerjee could fight back and Navneet Kumar could take the challenge a little bit later on to Oshan Kotadia. How will that come around? That will be later, but the fight still goes around between 11th to 12th. That is Swaraj Yadav versus Raj Tula. How is it going to go on for Munjan Sabla? We'll wait and find out.
We focus on Aditya Pawar right now, ninth position. We had an opportunity to chat with him, see what he had to say.
Nervous before every session. Forget every race. So every session I'm pretty nervous. I don't know what makes me nervous, because I really don't know what makes a racing driver nervous. It's just probably fear of the lights, or probably the race start, or you don't want to end up in the wall, or there are a lot of things which probably go in the mind. But yes, before every session I'm pretty nervous, like literally pissing my pants, you can say.
Well, here is ninth position, and this is the Fania chicane, which leads, of course, to the final sector of the lap here at the campus corner. Very good University of Technology there on the inside of the corner before you go out and attack the final section on the road back to, I would say, Spa, of course, which is the town that they find themselves in, along with Francorchamps. It's a combination of two towns, hence the name of the circuit. But Aditya Pawar in ninth position, pulling away now and just feeling comfortable with this race at the moment. Your race leader is the championship leader, Amit Kuti, and this is a bumper points haul, you could say at this stage, Solomon, as Navneet Kumar now finds himself under pressure for the podium. Aro Ravindra is in damage limitation mode.
Well, Aro Ravindra needs to make sure that he gets on the top three, that's for sure, to keep his chances alive. I did get a feeling that somewhere Aditya Pawar, Braden Samuel has just got ahead of Aditya Pawar. I think he possibly missed a turn, and we will come back to that in just a bit. Aro Ravindra now on the tail of Navneet Kumar. He will be looking for a toe, maybe on one of the tight right-handers or a left. Does he get the draft this time around? Come on, close in.
Nope.
Tries to break in a little later. There is a little space, no space given, no space taken, and the battle continues.
It certainly does, but the issue here for Aro Ravindra is he struggled through Aruj and Radion. That effectively tampered the run for his attempt there at Leikum and Malmedy, and now through Bruchel's corner here at the former Ravage. This is a very, very tough battle that Ravindra's got to find. He's been very good out of here, the former speaker's corner, Jackie X corner here, this big left, and now trying to attack off the exit. A lot of his rivals who he's been racing against over this one have been using that runoff area on the outside, and Arrow has been very, pardon the pun, arrow straight through that corner. He's been very much not using all of the track limits right now to try and attack, but he's trying to be conservative with the way that he goes out there and attacks. This is minimal risk, but there's the big one, trying again at the Fania chicane to put a nose up the inside, and he's not going to find it this time the same way he did on Rishabh Banerjee.
I think let's look at the camel straight. That's where it's going to possibly, the overtaking mirror is going to come down, and maybe he's going to use push to pass there. And he's close, but Navneet Kumar is now, we get a feeling, is feeling the nerves, and you can really see him going a little more tighter on that corner, and not a simple straight line where the racing line he should follow. Side by side, Aro Ravindra almost as he comes around. No space given, no space taken again.
Well, he's trying everything here to make this move. He's not going to get it at Blanchimont, but he's got a big braking zone coming up, and he is poised and ready. Heavy defense then as they go through, and that is Aravindra then jumping up to where he needs to in the number 17 into 30. Got it done with power on the exit. Navneet Kumar, nothing he could argue about there. He drops down to 4th place. We're going to step aside for one more moment here. The final 10 minutes coming to you after this.
Power. You only understand it when you feel it, you know? And when you do, trust me, you'll know why we live for these nights.
Volkswagen.
I tell you what, Navneet Kumar had a lunge at turn 1 there and very nearly found a way straight back then on Aravindra, but he's got this long Kemmel straight to go out there and get forward on, and if they start fighting too much, they'll allow Rishabh Banerjee back in, but you can see the gap that Navneet Kumar has dropped on the Kemmel straight. Aravindra is gone with just 9 minutes remaining here in this race here, this race 1 of 3 over the weekend at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. And there is Jamie Shaw in 7th position now, who is looking like under pressure from Tej Patel in 8th place. So Patel definitely wants more points here, and remember that it's so tight here in terms of the battles in the mid-pack here. Jamie Shaw's a little bit on the outside looking in and wants more points here to get back into that realm where you have 6 drivers split by 19 points.
So Tej Patel now occupying number 8. Now, Jamie Shaw, we've not spoken about Jamie Shaw today. I do believe when the race started, he was outside the top 10, top 11, and slowly went up all the way up to number 7. He needs to break away from this battle, possibly to challenge in the top 6. Where is Jamie Shaw as far as the points table is concerned? Somewhere at number 11. So with these points, he could consolidate the lead or the deficit with Aditya Pawar.
Definitely, with, of course, Pawar being in a very tough battle to get back into, as we see Tej Patel making progress through the right then of the campus corner. And the attack continues then here with this very long run. This is where you need to go out there and be the most aggressive that you possibly can, because that chicane is very much about angling yourself to the inside, giving yourself the best opportunity to attack. But again, it's not quite happening then with these drivers as they look to push forward through the left-hand corner there of Blanchimont there. And once more, Tej Patel is forced to play the waiting game, and he's dropped back to the tune of about 0.7 of a second through this section alone. Amit Kuti still in control at the front, but it's been a good run from Oshan Kataria in 2nd position. There's no Steve Smuts here today, which is going to be a huge shame for him. But at this stage, Oshan Kataria can now consolidate 3rd place in the championship.
I actually got a feeling that Tej Patel was a little slow on the exit of the chicane, not being able to power out, as you would say. Oshan Kataria has quite a gap to catch up with Amit Kuri, not being really able to challenge with about a little over 6 minutes 30 seconds to go. It's a long ask. Quick word, Aaron Ravindra consolidate. Navneet Kumar drops down as Rishabh Banerjee just moves up to position number 4.
Yep, so Navneet Kumar now down into 5th place with that change of position then on the road. So they'll be looking at things right now and thinking that Navneet has maybe a little bit more time to try and gather that back. No worries from Garvit Loader behind in 6th place. These 2 drivers are fighting on their own for position here. The 0-1 of Navneet Kumar wants everything possible to go out there and gain that 4th place. But we did manage to get a chance to chat with one more driver. It was Nirav Jain, who I believe that we had the chance to go and have a conversation with. And this is what we had an opportunity to speak about with the driver in 16th place.
Honestly, I think the first race of the last race of the 2019 F1 season, Abu Dhabi, I think. Yeah, that's when I watched my first race with Jeet. So we were watching the race, and like the level of detail, it's not. I watch a lot of football, right? And the commentary is honestly pretty hilarious. But there was the first time I saw a sport where the commentary was so in depth, and how every single thing affected or mattered in how the performance of the car would be in the race. And the amount of factors that come into play, that really, the technicalities really, interested me. And that's when the spirit came.
Island racing at the moment for Nirav Jain. He's in 16th place. There's a huge gap to the car in front and a huge gap to the car behind as well. So Nirav time to work with at this stage to try and just keep himself to himself at this stage. There is Divyang Dodia in 17th, the nearest car to him behind, trying to make some progress. But we're into the final 5 minutes now, Solomon, and it's looked pretty clear in terms of perspective for the championship right now. Amit Kuti has come into this race with complete control over how he wants to make this happen. You can just see the gap he's managed to extend out. He's got about 3 seconds in his back pocket here with about 2, maybe 3 laps to go.
With Amit Kuti and Arun Ravindra, what I kind of noticed was how they handle the most toughest corner, where you're talking about the Camel Straight, the Rouge, and then the chicane just before the home straight. Now, we did see Nirav Jain. They weren't able to map the lines on that turn, especially the curve. So all of them just trying to go towards the race limit just out of the track. They got to be a little bit careful there. You got to make your markings to just make sure you stay on the track and make sure that'll up your timings as you go along.
And there is Oshan Katadia in second position on the road and trying everything to just keep in range. But it looks like this is a resignation at this point in time. There is not much he can do except pray for a mistake from Amit Kuti here. But Oshan Katadia is very much in a different style of race in this championship. Just hasn't had the luck early on in the season. Does have a race win to his name, but has been the sort of driver who has been hoping that the result comes in just a little bit further down the line and hopes that drivers make mistakes, and they simply haven't, and that's why he's on the outside looking in this sort of championship. Ara Ravindra right now in third position, and it is going to be a little bit touch and go in terms of the lap times, but I believe we're on 2 laps to go, Solomon, when Amit Kuti...
To go for Tej Patel to consolidate on the position for Jamie Shaw. They're going to take it down to the wire as Tej Patel lines up Jamie Shaw for an overtaking whenever close, but not close enough. He tries to go on the outside, tries to push him, maybe pressurize him a little bit to break a little earlier. Late, no, Jamie Shaw doesn't have any of it, keeps to the racing line, but Tej Patel will have a little toe as they get onto a little straighter. Where are they right now? A little bit on the outside. Once again, somebody's going to give a little space. Tight turn. They're not able to keep it tight as well. This is going to be the home straight. Can he come close? Tej Patel, can he take the toe? A little too late.
Navneet Kumar is fading fast. He's dropped what is 5th place now to Garvit Loader. And this is the battle just in front. So Patel now can't get through at the last source hairpin. Has 2 more opportunities, or 1 more last source hairpin to try and get going. But this Camel Straight is going to be key. You've got to carry as much speed as possible through Eau Rouge and Radion here. This is the tough section. You descend down the hill, and you've got one of the most famous rises in all of motorsport here through the left and the right, and the final left, which leads you up onto the Camel Straight. And this is where you start finding that ability to get the run. Tej Patel has it at the moment. He'll have to go the long road, the road hard traveled, to try and make this position and get this place, but he does stall out at top speed here and can't get it done around the outside. Jamie Shaw pretty much driving a very, very stripped out Volkswagen Polo there.
I was just wondering if he can do an Alonso on Schumacher on that particular corner. Rare Rouge, Camel Straight, but then Tej Patel was a little too hesitant to take it on when the Camel Straight came in. But now the battle still continues. He possibly has just a little over a lap. How is it going to come around as Arun Ravindra continues to consolidate number 3 with Amit Kuti, our race leader and also the championship leader.
Absolutely, and doing wonders with that run and proving to everybody at this stage that this is his championship and his alone at this moment in time. We will have 1 more lap then to go here at the circuit Spa-Francorchamps. After this, you finish the lap that you start on when the timer ticks 0, and there's going to be about 15 seconds left on the clock here when Amit Kuti crosses the start-finish line, with Oshan Katadia there in a very, very lonely second position around this Spa circuit. So 1 more lap remains then in this race. Aravindra there in third position, but most of the battling is happening at this moment in time. Loader through on Navneet Kumar. Shaw still trying to fend off Tej Patel. And there is Jamie Shaw once again having to play the defensive pact, because that is going to be Tej Patel trying again on the outside. And once more, it's very good car placement by Jamie Shaw to make sure that there is no chance that Tej Patel can find that way through. And you've now got to start thinking about the unorthodox places you can go out there and attack. Look how aggressive to the middle of the road goes Jamie Shaw, and on the brakes into turn one, Patel is again finding the outside, but he's clipped the wall on the inside there, going through the Lassal's hairpin. That pretty much puts an end to that battle there. Patel trying to take far too much out of the corner, and it's one of the rarest things you see anyone hitting the inside at turn number one, and it all ends up in tears. There's Aditya Pawar in 10th position. No real shocks from him, about a second back now off of Ryden Sam Ravel, going on to the final lap and trying to find as much as possible to be needed. But it is the Amit Kuti show at the moment at the front. Kathadia, then Ravindra here, your top three as things stand. But it looks like, at least for this moment, that Aditya Pawar is looking pretty nice in 10th position up the Kemmel Straight and into the right, left and right of Lekub, and the third right, of course, being Malmedy Corner here, this right. Patel hasn't given this one up, though, to Jamie Shaw, who might be struggling on the tyres. This is a very tyre-heavy circuit because of the long distances that you do drive in this sort of race, but there is your race leader, Amit Kuti, absolutely on his own, not in shot is his main challenger today, Oshan Kathadia. And this has been a race where Amit Kuti wanted to stamp a marker. He wanted to make sure he had a one race gap of 50 points in the championship. With this race win, he is going to cement himself now as clear by a considerable margin. He has now worked hard to build up that buffer zone, and now he's got a race in the bank, so to speak. Watch out, world. Amit Kuti has completely shown everyone how Spa-Francorchamps is done. He wins here at a wonderful, wonderful race.
So that takes him to 472 points. Whooping 472 points. Tej Patel versus Jamie Shaw. You talk about test of nerves, you talk about pressure. It is all building up. You still have two more races to make that count. Aru Ravindra will be hoping for fortunes to turn around for him tomorrow.
Yep, and it's all about fortune. There's two races tomorrow. Of course, they'll qualify for race two, and hopefully they'll find a little bit more in the setup to try and make things happen. But then afterwards, it's going to be about, well, what can you find and what can you do if you're in that third race with that 12-car reverse. Tej Patel coming home in 8th. Samaravel 9th. It will be Pawar in 10th position. Munjar Savla will pick up 11th, a crucial 11th place, and it will be Swaraj Yadav who will take pole position next time out. Amit Kuti, your race winner overall, and really, Solomon, no surprises, picks up another 10 points on his nearest rival.
Done amazingly well. Take a bow, Amit Kuti, because fair enough. Round one, round two was Aru Ravindra, but then it was all the way Amit Kuti show. He's dominated, and he's shown why is he dominated so well. A good race by Jamie Shaw as well. He did well to hold off Tej Patel.
Yeah, he's done very well to hold off Tej Patel with a wonderful drive, especially the way that things have gone. Unfortunately for us here, ladies and gentlemen, with the technical issues that we have been suffering with over the course of today, and we do apologize for the late start that we had, meaning that we missed pretty much all of qualifying. We are not going to be able today to bring you post-race interviews with the drivers, but what we can do is hope that those issues are fixed for tomorrow, and we'll have an opportunity to talk to them in the very near future. But in terms of this race, this has been wonderfully done here in the Volkswagen by Volkswagen Motorsports India. On top of that, with the work that has been done here by so many efforts that have been pushed forward. So with that all being said, that's Solomon Paras here, and I'm Jake Sperry, and we will talk to you very, very soon.